Hi. Welcome to the part of the day where I share 3 people who've inspired me in the last day. I'm ZGALA, the art angel, by the way. This is the Head Hutt. It's a beautiful time of day in here. And this is a new segment where I'm reflecting on what has inspired me in the last three things that have inspired me in the last one day or so, and hoping to inspire you to reflect on what's inspiring you. Maybe you'll say me. I think it's just a really good practice to reflect on what is inspiring us and why. So today, as I reflect on that, the 3 people that come to mind first off are James Hollis, who is an author who has written like 17 or 20 books. And I was just listening to him get referred to on a podcast, and it reminded me of how much he's inspired me. And also the conversation in that podcast about him was kind of reinvigorated that inspiration. And the podcast was on the Lex Friedman podcast, and his guest is Dr. Huberman for like the 5th time, 555. And both of those guys also really inspire me. So I'm going to go with Andrew Huberman today because I've already talked about Lex a little bit, and I probably will again. He inspires me often. But the third person that came to mind when I was racking my brain about who's inspiring me is my friend Autumn. So those 3, James Hollis, Andrew Huberman, and my friend Autumn. Let's get into it. 3 reasons that each of them inspires me. I haven't thought this through beforehand, so let's see how I do. James Hollis inspires me by his having written 17 or 20 books. I believe it's 20 books, but the official count often gets said as 17. And as a person who's written some books that don't get counted, I understand how that goes. But the man is 84 this year and still very articulate, very with it. So he inspires me both by his prolific authoring of very high quality books and by his ability to still be sharp as a tack, as they say, at age 84. And last but not least, he's just a genuinely generous person who really rides the edge, I would say, between self-reflection. He's a Jungian psychologist, but one of his mottos is get up, show up, and shut up. I might have got those out of order, but shut up, get up, and show up, something like that. I probably still got them out of order. But he balances those 2 would-be dichotomies between putting things aside and getting the work done, getting shit done, and also taking time to pause and self-reflect and look at one's own shadows. And I find that very inspiring. So James Hollis on my list of people who've inspired me and continue to inspire me. Secondly, Andrew Huberman, who I may have mentioned before. He continues to inspire me. Today, when I was listening to the podcast, the most recent podcast with him and Lex Friedman that just got released, and he was talking about mentorship. That's how James Hollis came into the conversation, but he was talking about how he is inspired by people who transition from doing their work to mentoring other people to do the work and continue in their footsteps. And I find that very inspiring. He's a very humble guy, and at the same time, a very, dare I say, a hip guy. He's got a quality about him that is very attractive. And I think that is rooted in a certain I don't know if hip isn't probably the right word, but able to connect to people in a genuine way. I still don't feel like I'm quite doing that justice, but I'm going to leave that there for now. So his admiration for mentors, his genuine authenticity, his ability to connect to people, and then I would say his podcast in general. He was just mentioning that it's just been since 2021 that since he started. And gosh, I've been at it a lot longer than that and haven't gotten nearly as far. And I do find him and Lex Friedman inspiring figures in my own life, both as human beings and as podcasters and as YouTubers. And so I take inspiration from that. I make them some of my yet unmet mentors. I have a long list of those. How about you? You got any yet unmet mentors? That reminds me of a bonus person who inspired me. The guy from Struthless. I should know his name, but I don't. But I was just watching one of his videos, and he was talking about making your inspirational phrases rhyme. And I've heard that before in different contexts. And obviously in marketing, it's done all the time. There's something about rhyming. I joke about it a lot. Like when you hear something that rhymes, your brain thinks of it as more true and you're able to remember it more. But he was talking about it in the context of having ADHD and looking for tools or sharing the tools that work for him. And I thought that was a really good one. So there's a little bonus there. Let's talk about my friend Autumn, who has inspired me a lot over the years. And today I was chatting with her and she was sharing how she got activated or triggered by something that somebody said to her. And she used that as a catalyst to post something about being her authentic self, kind of standing up for herself and her desire to be a nice person, because somebody was criticizing her for sort of, I don't think she used the word pushover, but she tends to be accommodating, and someone was criticizing that in her. And I really am inspired by her ability to be accommodating. I know there's a fine line in being a people pleaser and becoming resentful. I've certainly walked that line and slipped over on various sides of it. I think many of us have. But I nonetheless really find it inspiring that she is adamant about maintaining that quality in herself, to be a kind and accommodating person to other people's needs. She deals with she has a son who has pretty severe autism, and she deals with other people with autism. She deals with me as a friend with my autism and also my ADHD and my tendency to overshare. She's very gracious in that, and I find that inspiring. So her kindness, her accommodating nature without being a pushover, because she's really not. She does reflect on things, hold her own ground, and also is resolved to be a kind, generous person. And I really do admire that. And I admire her ability to reflect. She has a real gift for seeing big pictures. I think, again, a lot of us have that gift when it's applied to someone else. And being that she and I have been friends for a few years now, we often do that for each other, and she's a safe space for me where I can share and know that she will reflect things to me in a kind way, and I really find that inspiring. I tend to be someone who will bounce things back to people in a less kind way, which is also has its place, has its value. I tend to be, when I was younger, it was called brutally honest. I've tried to dial down the brutality some notches. Nonetheless, I still lean in that direction. So I find it inspiring to watch her ability to hold a safe space for people in a kinder, gentler way. I also find inspiring her relentlessness to build a life for herself and her children that she enjoys. Her and I run a project together called the Joy Project, and sometimes I don't show up fully because I'm feeling off, feeling less than joyful, and she shows up kind of relentlessly, and I really do admire and appreciate that and find it inspiring. And it helps pull me back into that zone of showing up for the things that I've said that I want to show up for and committed to. So there you have it. Autumn inspires me by her resilience and her relentless showing up and her kind, accommodating, without being a pushover nature, and her holding safe space for herself and others and building a life for herself that she loves. I think I kind of breezed through 4 or 5 in there, but those are the 3 that came back to me top of the list. Andrew Huberman inspires me by his admiration of mentors and other people that have come before him, and his looking forward into the future and wanting to be a mentor for others. He inspires me as a mentor for podcasting and how to really make a successful podcast. And he inspires me with his authenticity, his ability to genuinely connect with other human beings from a wide array, many different arenas in life. And last but certainly not least, James Hollis, who inspires me by being sharp as a tack at age 84, by being a prolific author of so many really great books. If you haven't checked out any of his work, I highly do recommend. He's got many. I think the book that I got into recently of his is called A Life of Meaning, and it's a good one, but he has many good ones. And his ability to balance being reflective with getting things done, which is demonstrated through his ability to write all these great books, basically. So there you have it. 3 people who've inspired me in the last 24 hours. James Hollis, Andrew Huberman, and my friend Autumn. Who's inspiring you? I'd love to know. If you care to share, put that in the comments. As always, I thank you for being you, and I thank you for letting me be me. I hope that you will like and subscribe because that helps me out a lot. I hope that you will check out the description if you want to connect with me. I hope that you will leave me a comment because I always love reading all of those. I hope that you will love yourself a little bit more because you're worthy of your own unconditional love. And until next time, I'll be seeing you. Peace.